it's well documented of the situation that took place between John Edward Bayless II and Shannon Sharp. And after the NBA Finals, in which the Denver Nuggets defeated the Miami Heat, Shannon Sharp left undisputed. Now, it's fitting that Shannon Sharp did that, considering that 7 years ago, John Edward Bayless II did the same thing. After the Cleveland Cavaliers came back from 3-1 to defeat the Golden State Warriors en route to their first NBA championship, John Edward Bayless II left First Take for the upstart show Undisputed on a newly minted Fox Sports 1. Stephen A. Smith and Shannon Sharp had an episode on Shannon Sharp's club Shay Shay. And I'm going to talk about that in another video. But for the sake of this video, we're going to talk about the one-sided sports debate show competition between First Take and the newly revamped Undisputed. Now, after Shannon Sharp left Undisputed, there was a 2-month hiatus of the show, mainly because John Edward Bayless II had a hard time finding people that's going to replace Shannon Sharp. So, in his infinite wisdom, he decides to copy, literally plagiarize ESPN's formula, consisting of a round robin of personalities that's going to debate him on a plethora of topics. Now, for Undisputed, we've seen Michael Irvin, Richard Sherman, because he was the first guy that was being announced. Actually, technically, it was Lil Wayne, but Lil Wayne's a rapper, okay? What sports I'm going to get from him? And I'm really not feeling that newly revamped song that Lil Wayne's pulling out for Undisputed. I'm just keeping it 100. Not feeling it. But then again, so you had Lil Wayne, you had Richard Sherman, you had Keyshawn Johnson after a back and forth with ESPN regarding his contract. ESPN let him out of his contract. Now he became a free agent. Now he's on FS1. And the playmaker, Michael Irvin, while he's still off of NFL Network due to that false rape allegation that's been out against him during the Super Bowl coverage back in February. He's still contending with that. And I'm gonna talk about that in another video because that's the one time I actually agreed with Stephen A. Smith regarding that situation with Michael Irvin. So also it was announced that Undisputed is going to bring on, what's that girl's name? Josina Anderson, another ESPN cast off. He also brought on Rachel Nichols. Now, we never known Rachel Nichols to be a debater. She's normally a host, a reporter, and the same woman who was caught on a tape while covering the NBA Finals trashing Maria Taylor. Now, that resulted in Rachel Nichols being fired from ESPN and Maria Taylor leaving ESPN to take on bigger roles on NBC. That's how Malika Andrews got up in there. The infamous Malika Andrews. But let's get to it. So this revamp Undisputed was supposed to attract viewers and ratings, and instead it has done the exact opposite. Now, coming from Front Office Sports, only 131,000 viewers on this newly revamped show. Now, mind you, Undisputed comes on 30 minutes prior to first take. And this is the kind of ratings that it drew. And then, not only that, 120,000 viewers on Tuesday, and then only 78,000 viewers on Wednesday. Look, you got this machine known as Fox back in this. The executives cannot be happy that these ratings not only regressing, but only 78,000 viewers with this machine known as Fox putting this out there in the atmosphere. You know the executives are not happy. And then there was reports before the show even began that Fox executives wasn't happy with Skip Bayless and his selection of panelists for the new show or for the revamped show. So if the executives weren't happy, and there's turmoil behind the scenes, well, that turmoil is going to reflect in the final product. And in that, you have seen that not many people are watching this show. But hey LB, you gotta understand, man. Skip put people on, man. Skip Bayless made a whole lot of people famous. I disagree with that. I disagree with that wholeheartedly. Cause see, Stephen A. Smith was already a well-known personality on ESPN. He had his own late-night talk show on ESPN. People seem to forget that. So he didn't put Stephen A. Smith on. He reached out to Stephen A. because that first take show was crumbling. Now, mind you, that first take show was known as Cold Pizza back in the day. It was Cold Pizza, and they had this segment called First Down, Second Down, Third Down, and Fourth Down. And then that evolved into First Take. And Skip Bayless had a round robin of people on that show, whether it been the Two Live Stews, whether it been Jalen Rose, whether it been Woody Page, whether it been who else was on that show? Tim Legler, you name it, they were on there. It didn't grow legs until Skip Bayless reached out to Stephen A. Smith because a whole lot of people forgot that the whole Skip Bayless Stephen A. Smith dynamic came about on Sundays when they were on ESPN together. Skip Bayless and Stephen A. Smith used to have this segment called Old School, New School. Used to be on Sundays whenever Bob Lee did the Sports Center episodes on Sunday. And Stephen A. Smith and Skip Bayless had this segment called Old School, New School, where Skip Bayless and Stephen A. Smith will offer their takes from their perspectives based on the topics being covered. That was the catalyst for them having that show First Take. That's why there was so much chemistry between Stephen A. Smith and Skip Bayless. Of course, when you have two personalities clashing and you have this power struggle that's going on, then eventually someone was going to have to leave. Because that's another thing that's not being talked about. It was a power struggle. And was, Skip Bayless saw the opportunity to have his own creative control at Fox Sports. That's why he left ESPN after the NBA Finals in 2016. And he has full autonomy. He has final say over everything regarding Undisputed. Shannon Sharpe didn't have no kind of say at all. Eventually, as time passed, Shannon Sharpe became more popular than Skip Bayless. Shannon Sharpe became bigger than Skip Bayless, especially with the Club Shay Shay. Look at the YouTube channels. Club Shay Shay versus the Skip Bayless show. Shannon Sharpe got over a million subscribers on his YouTube channel versus Skip Bayless's 200 and something thousand. Shannon Sharpe didn't need Skip Bayless. Okay? Skip Bayless reached out to Shannon Sharpe. Shannon Sharpe was a 3-time Super Bowl champion and a Hall of Famer. Shannon Sharpe has done TV before. He was the analyst on, most notably the analyst on the NFL Today. He didn't need Skip Bayless. Skip Bayless needed him. So for everybody that's saying that, oh, Skip Bayless put people on, that's cap. He didn't put anybody on. These guys were already well known in the media circles before Skip Bayless asked them to do the show. So this is Skip Bayless's fault that he's in this position, because he don't want to be challenged. He don't want nobody calling him up for the buffoonery he says sometimes. Well, a lot of times. And this is the result of this. This John Edwards Bayless, the second character, is an egomaniac. He's an egomaniac. And the result of John Edwards Bayless II being this egomaniac who can dish it up but definitely can't take it, you're going to end up having a whole bunch of yes men, and you're going to have a whole bunch of people in there that's going to not offer so much pushback. Because the reports been out that's saying that Skip Bayless has final say over the personnel. He has final say over the creative control of the show. And basically, for all intents and purposes, he has full autonomy over Undisputed. And this is the end result. Fox is not getting their return on investment. And this is what's going to lead to Skip Bayless eventually being fired. Because you don't commit $32 million over the course of 4 years. Because he's making like $8 million a year. To do the math. Because he signed a 4-year extension back in 2021. You don't commit $32 million for this. You don't. Somebody is going to start that clock, if you catch my drift. They're going to start the clock of Skip Bayless's tenure at FS1 ending. When you got shows around Undisputed that's doing better, whether it be Nick Wright's show, and y'all know I don't like Nick Wright. You follow my channel for any length of time, I cannot stand that Toucan Sam motherfucker. Can't stand him. His show is doing better than Undisputed. When you got the show with Joy Taylor and Emmanuel Acko or Acho or whoever that clown is, and LaShawn McCoy. Because remember, LaShawn McCoy was name was being dangled around as the guy that was going to replace Shannon Sharp. That show doing better than Undisputed. When you got Colin Cowherd's show that comes on right after Undisputed. You know, long time show, The Herd. When that show's doing better than Undisputed, that is a significant problem. It's a significant problem. And the clock is ticking. They better find a way to right the ship because this cannot continue. These ratings here that you see right here on the screen, 70,000 viewers, that is unacceptable. So the executives at Fox need to either find a way to tweak some things about the show. Now, I don't know if Skip Bayless's creative control is ironclad. I don't know if that's the case per the contract and all that, but I don't see them continuing this for much longer if these ratings continue like this. I mean, this is not even competitive. Maybe it has something to do with a lot of people being salty about how Skip Bayless treated Shannon Sharp. Could that be a factor in why there's this widening gap? Because you got some personalities on that show that can make it work, especially with Michael Irvin being there, Richard Sherman, and Keyshawn Johnson. So the show can work, but I think a lot of people being salty about how Skip Bayless treated Shannon Sharp. That cannot, with the Damar Hamlin situation, right, and with the situation with Tom Brady when Skip Bayless made that comment, not once, but twice. He made that comment on two different occasions on that show when he said that Tom Brady plays better at 45 than Shannon Sharp did at 35. He said that twice. The first time it went over people's heads. And I was like, hold on. He just really disrespected him like that and nobody caught that? It was that second time. And that second time, and that was fresh off the Damar Hamlin situation. Because remember when Damar Hamlin passed out on that field during that game between the Buffalo Bills and the Cincinnati Bengals, and Skip Bayless put up that infamous tweet. Shannon Sharp didn't come to work the next day. He came back that Wednesday. And when Shannon Sharp was on his monologue, and Shannon Sharp was trying to, hey, Skip Bayless need to take that tweet down. But and he was trying to continue with his monologue, and Skip Bayless cuts him off. Because that's the disrespectful prick that he is. And he was like, I'm not going to take down the tweet. I stand by what I said. And that's when Shannon Sharp lost it. I think that was the final straw right there. That was the final straw. And this is where we at. Shannon Sharpe has Stephen A. Smith on his club Shay Shay. And now you're going to have a situation where Shannon Sharpe is going to join First Take starting September 4th, which is Monday. What's up, Underrated? Salute to you, bro. And you already know the ratings on that show is going to be crazy because people are going to want to see Shannon Sharpe and Stephen A. Smith on the show at the same time, covering the same topics. And along the way, as I'm navigating through all this, the timelines, the events, all this stuff, you notice that Stephen A. Smith has been taking little digs at Skip Bayless. And he tried to say it's not personal and it's not, it's all love. Skip Bayless, my brother, all that jazz, right? But he has been taking digs at Skip Bayless. Low digs here, low digs there. Hell, even on his YouTube channel, Stephen A. Smith, his own YouTube channel, when the whole thing between Richard Sherman and Skip Bayless was a thing on First Take 12 years ago or 11 years ago or wherever it was. And Stephen A. Smith revealed some information that wasn't privy to the public then regarding that situation behind the scenes with the executives at ESPN. So when you hear all that, and then you hear Stephen A. saying that, Skip Bayless got his thing, I got my thing, we really don't talk like that. I'm wondering, was there some beef between Stephen A. Smith and Skip Bayless? Now he'll say out in public that, that's my, Skip Bayless, my brother from another, blah blah blah. But you don't say that that's your brother from another, and then at the same time you're taking digs at him publicly. Little sneak disses here, a little dig there. You wouldn't do that to your brother from another, unless you're not brothers from another. You're just saying that in front of the cameras, but behind the scenes, you really can't stand that individual. But I could be wrong. I could be wrong. And if I'm wrong, I'll live with that. Now, what the Fox executives cannot live with is the fact that these ratings that you're seeing here on the thumbnail continue this path before somebody ends up losing their job, someone ends up losing their show. And then they'll bring on somebody else, an up and comer, right? Because one thing we hadn't talked about yet, right, is the fact that outside of Richard Sherman, and Richard Sherman's done, NFL Network coverage and stuff like that, but Keyshawn Johnson and Michael Irvin are established veterans in the media game after their playing days is over, right? You look at First Take, the Marcus Spears and Ryan Clarks and the Kimberly A. Martins and the who replaced Josina Anderson, right? Just like in basketball, where you had Maria Taylor be replaced by Malika Andrews, And that's only the case because Maria Taylor left. Had Maria Taylor stayed at ESPN, she would have been the person doing the NBA coverage, not Malika Andrews. Malika Andrews probably be like the sideline reporter. But then again, as long as Lisa Salters is there, what impact or to what capacity Malika Andrews would have had Maria Taylor stayed at ESPN? But that's another video for another day. I'll talk about that once at another time. But I was trying to correlate. So you had Josina Anderson, who was at ESPN, and she is now with FS1. Don't know how much of an impact of a debater she is because I've never seen her at work. Yeah, she was a sideline reporter for the NFL and stuff like that. But you got to understand, before Josina Anderson, there was Jamel Hill. What's up, J Rod? AKA the talented Mr. J. Salute to you, bro. Hey, I'm gonna hit you up. I'm gonna hit you up behind the scenes though. I'm surprised Jamel Hill didn't get a gig with ES or FS1, but Skip Bayless don't like her, so there's that too. But anyway, so Josina Anderson was on ESPN for a long time. Now she's going to FS1. Now Josina Anderson is being replaced on ESPN by Kimberly A. Martin. But like I said before, none of them dudes on that show, even though ESPN is beating the hell out of First Take, right? And I think it has to do with the fact that people cannot get over how Skip Bayless treated Shannon Sharpe. That is the main catalyst for why you see these ratings the way they are. People cannot get over that, over how Skip Bayless did Shannon Sharpe. He did Shannon Sharpe dirty. But none of them dudes that Stephen A. Smith be prayed would it be Marcus Spears, Dan Orlovsky, Louis Riddick, um, Ryan Clark, Kimberly A. Martin, all that round robin of individuals. None of them dudes have the ratings draw like Shannon Sharpe. I'm telling you, them days that Shannon Sharpe's on First Take, it's going to really blow Undisputed out the water. I mean, you think these ratings are bad now? You wait until Shannon Sharpe gets on First Take. With him and Stephen A. Smith going on there talking different topics and whatever like that. Now, from what I understand, they only gonna be there. He only gonna be there like a couple days a week. That's not gonna be an everyday thing. But you wait till Shannon Sharpe gets on that show. It's gonna be, it's gonna be really bad for Undisputed. But anyway, I could be wrong, and if I'm wrong, please let me know in the comments. Now, if you're not subscribed to this channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit that like button, and share these videos on your social media platforms. Last but definitely not least, shouts out to the LDBC, Lions Den basketball community. This your man. Scream at me. All right.